Heartbroken, standing in the chilly rain tonight, this Louisville mother still has the strength to thank everyone for their prayers. Her 16-year-old son shot and killed in a drive-by shooting at the school bus stop early this morning. Tyree Smith's mother says he was also able to call her on his cell phone to tell her he'd been shot. 3 minutes after leaving the house, he would later die at the hospital. Hello everyone, here on the Night Team, I'm Doug Prophet. A vigil and prayer service remembered him tonight. Police say Tyree was one of 3 Eastern High School students shot at Chestnut Street and Dr. W.J. Hodge Street as they waited for their school bus at about 6:30 this morning. That's about 20 blocks west of downtown Louisville. A 13-year-old boy was taken to the hospital and a 14-year-old girl suffered a graze wound. Tonight, they're asking for your help to solve this case, sharing this photograph of a gray Jeep Cherokee, Illinois license plate number BD91644. They say it was in the area this morning and the people inside may have information about what happened. While police investigate, community members are calling for action. WHS 1119's Isaiah Kim Martinez is joining us live from Eastern High School, where he also covered 2 vigils tonight. Isaiah?
Well, Doug, Tyree Smith was supposed to arrive here early this morning. That never happened as we watched what happened. We watched reactions. It's a situation now where LMPD is upping their presence at several stops as kids get to and from the next several days. But tonight, one mother is still left asking why her son. Support from a city in mourning, in prayer and in song, to 16-year-old Tyree Smith's mother, who says she did everything she could to avoid this.
I'm not a parent to let the kids go out covering guns. I want everybody to know that. I teach my kid the right thing.
And says her son did too.
And for this to come to my front door, for something that don't got nothing to do with my child, he's a loving kid. He's just innocent waiting to go to school and get education. It's just senseless.
Yet, in a matter of 3 minutes Wednesday morning, she watched her high school son walk out the door to his school bus stop and somehow, within moments, calling her saying he'd been shot.
Mama, I feel like I'm dead. I'm lost for words.
Right where the drive-by shooting happened, 12 hours later, dozens of residents.
Why do kids have to die for y'all to understand that the violence needs to stop? Put something in this neighborhood.
Activists.
This is an absolute correlation to poverty. People have nothing to live for, so they'll take a life because they do not care about theirs.
And pastors.
It's that child today. Tomorrow it may be my grandchild.
Pleading for change, saying this cannot happen, believing a proactive approach is the only option.
My absolute commitment to work with every single leader, to work with city officials.
At a vigil in the Russell neighborhood stood students, those who watched 3 of their peers get shot, 1 killed before their eyes as they waited for their school bus. Counselors telling them they're not alone.
What am I supposed to do when I'm guiding my son down the right path and he get killed and hurt by senseless violence?
Where does the community go from here? They believe it starts with demands to those in power in Louisville.
I challenge each and every one of you to get involved.
And at the end of the night, many leaning the heartache and grief.
We're going to get through this.
On a higher power. A JCPS spokesperson says they'll have extra security here at this school, Eastern High, tomorrow, as well as extra additional measures for transport. Now, we asked if they're going to go back to that same area to pick up students. They say they will, but it's unclear if that same bus stop on Chestnut and W.J. Hodge will run as normal. Doug.
All right, that is a big question lingering tonight. Thank you very much, Isaiah. Now, the impact of this shooting is felt across our city. This afternoon, JCPS had additional security at Eastern High School in Middletown as students were dismissed for the day. One mother told us the shooting weighed heavily on her children throughout the day in class.
It was a very tense atmosphere, and so she described being very, very anxious, and I had to kind of calm her down as a mental health therapist. And went directly into counselor mode with my own kid, just to have her be able to make it through the day today.
The school district sent their crisis team, the response team, to Eastern immediately after the shooting today, and they're going to be on hand as long as needed.
Our primary goal is to give them a safe space to talk give them positive coping skills, and we're triaging students and identifying students that may need more additional intensive counseling intervention after the crisis team has left.
The Metro's Office for Safe and Healthy Neighborhoods is also helping those impacted, providing resources to the victims, their families, and those who witnessed the violence. The agency will host a Safe Haven event tomorrow at 6 at the Moore Temple Church of Christ, God in Christ at 23rd and Broadway. The event will have mental health providers and faith leaders on hand to help those who are grieving. This is the 145th homicide LMPD detectives are investigating this year since January. According to data from the department, 21 of those victims were 17 years old or younger.
No young person should have to live in an environment where they're afraid of violence. And no community should have to live in fear that their children could be victimized while waiting on a school bus.
The ATF and FBI have partnered with LMPD not only in this case, but on a larger scale to combat crime in the city. That partnership gives LMPD access to more technology, resources, and investigators. FBI Louisville Acting Special Agent in Charge Edward Gray said they've embedded resources within the department just as recently as last night.